Hello, everyone. Um, have you had issues with boundaries, solving, trying to navigate how to create boundaries in your life, in your relationships, and because things have happened, and you're now everybody's trying to wonder, how are we going to have a new normal in our relationship? This video is for you. So, in this video, I'll be talking about family boundary ambiguity. What is that? Stay tuned until you find out. Okay? Now, you're welcome back. Now, my name is Abiola. I'm the host of the Sign Talk Show. And in this episode, I'll be talking about family boundary ambiguity. As I think about the topic, I realize that a lot of us actually, um, you know, have one way or the other. We need skill to be able to put proper boundaries in place in even in our relationship and in the way that we conduct, ourselves. So when chaos happens, when betrayal, infidelity, adultery, um, what kind of hurt or pain or whatever happens in a relationship, you know, it can cause chaos and emotional imbalance in the relationship and in families. And so, as a result, you know, all things can begin to happen that, you know, people will start looking for, okay, what is the new normal going to be? You know, people can hurt one another. It doesn't have to be even be in romantic relationships, even in siblings, parents to child, or even adult children to their parents and all that, in-laws, relatives, and all of that. And then you're trying to wonder what is the blueprint or what is the manual for a new way in which we actually um, coexist or relate going forward. So that's why I want to make this video. If you can relate with any of these things, put in your thoughts, put in your comments. I want to hear from you. What are the challenges? Because I feel like this is a big challenge in a lot of relationships. And when we don't have clear boundaries on how we relate, we have unhealthy interactions in our relationship. So, first of all, it starts with the mind. It starts with, okay, how do I, relate with this person? So now, what is family boundary ambiguity? It refers to uncertainty within a family. Uncertainty, you see, uncertainty within a family about who is in the family and what roles each person should play. Uncertainty. Why would a family have uncertainty? Number one, when a family, for example, now maybe a romantic relationship, a man and a woman coming together and they're supposed to be safe even for one another, they're supposed to be together and united and unity and all of that, in a beautiful atmosphere of love, kindness, and oneness. When that bond is broken, probably through, you know, even through exposure to pornography or even extramarital affairs or um, multiple relationships and all of that, you know, that there cannot be stability, there cannot be emotional stability in that kind of reality. So therefore, that's the reality, and this is facing us, right? So that creates uncertainty, that creates emotional imbalances. And this is why we need to learn, because when we keep glorifying stuff like side chick ministry or we keep glorifying all manner of things, what we are actually getting ourselves for is for a lot of confusion. We are building a lot of chaos and uncertainty in our relationships, and we need to shout about it. So, this is the aftermath of making the wrong choices, in relationships and in our lives. You see, so then you begin to now wonder, what role is that person going to play or should you play in your life? So this is what's called when boundaries are ambiguous. Now they are ambiguous because before you used to be close, and then now in the new reality after all of manner of things, you're now trying to wonder, okay, where do we draw the line? Where do we close doors? Where do we open door? All manner of things like that. So the boundaries are ambiguous. Family members are unsure about who belongs to the family system now, or if, for example, this is an exchange parent. So if that happened and there are children involved, so you see, this is so. In fact, the more I think about this, the more I think about, I'll be like, this is just a lot of emotional weight and emotional, mental, stress that can be avoided if people actually, put self control in place, and they actually not just be led by their feelings. You know, we now begin to wonder, for example, like an exchange parent still considered part of the family. So an exchange parent, so maybe somebody that did one thing or the other, or betrayed or whatever, and now they've separated or they've left or whatever, are they now still part of the family system? Do they still are they are they going to be allowed to still make decisions in the family? All manner of things. To what level do they still have influence? To what level do they still have say? So authority is even lost in such circumstances because we are not fully in. So you don't have the authority to be saying you want the family to be run this way, you want family to be run that way, because you see, sin and all of these wrong choices will strip you of authority and leadership. You see. So who is responsible for certain tasks or roles? These are the questions that this ambiguity causes. How decisions are made, what expectations each person should follow. So these are these decisions and everything becomes blurry in a family. Yeah, when there's a family boundary ambiguity. So when does boundary ambiguity occur? So when does it occur? It often arises during or after major transitions or crisis. So the crisis, and these are the root causes, I would say, of family boundary ambiguity. Separation or divorce. Separation or divorce. Infidelity. Remarriage and blending families. Migration or long distance separation. Death or disappearance of a family member. Serious illness or disability. So all of these are big, big issues that is a reality of a lot of us, of a lot of families, whether in church or outside of church. A lot of people, these are experiences. Separation or divorce, infidelity, remarriage, unblending families, all manner of things like that. And then you begin to wonder. In fact, some people don't even have the bandwidth to even communicate about these issues. So but these are issues. So first of all, you have to bring it to the table of communication to actually sit down to look at it and evaluate it. That how do we create a system around all of these things, and what is it that we need to do to be able to cultivate a healthy relationship in the new reality. And for those that are watching, that probably this is not your reality, this is for you to learn that, see, these are the things that you will deal with in the aftermath of, if you put your feelings before the word of God, or like you don't walk in wisdom, or you don't think very well before you go ahead and just make relationship decisions and choices and all of that, based on your own wisdom. No wonder the Bible says that trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. In a lot of times, the reason why we even fall into all of this is because we try to go in our own understanding. If I just feel like, okay, if I'm not satisfied with this person, I just go and do whatever. I just go in my own understanding and lean to my own understanding. We lean to our own understanding, and therefore we wonder why we fall into so many chaos and so many, distress, in our families and in our relationships. This is the reason why. So why does boundary ambiguity matter? Why does boundary ambiguity matter? When family boundaries are unclear, members may feel confused. In fact, a lot of us are confused. Confused, unsupported, or overburdened. Honestly, a lot of people are overburdened in their relationships. Overburdened, you probably see. Even people can be in a marriage whereby, the father and mother are living together and all of that. But one person feels like the burden of probably parenting is more on them because the other person is not even getting it at all. They're overburdened. They're overburdened. They are there, but they're not there. They're just, So when family boundaries are unclear, members feel all of these things. There may be conflict or role strain. Mm. When family boundaries are unclear, there may be conflict or role strain. E.g., for example, a child acting like a parent. So a child in a family acting like a parent is already an imbalance in the family system or the family structure or in the way the the structural shape of the family. That is already an imbalance already, a disorder in the hierarchy of the family. So when we know these things, we begin to know. When we begin to assess ourselves, become self-aware, then we begin to understand that okay, this is what it is, and then we'll be able to know how to build to get to a healthy place. Family functioning can become unstable. Communications Communication becomes uncertain or inconsistent when this boundary ambiguity, you know, occurs. For example, a father who moves out after a separation but still visits occasionally may leave children confused about whether he is still part of a daily family life, or not. So these are the issues that face in separation, single parent families, and all manner of things like that, or probably even people that have multiple baby mamas. So you can see that this is not a proper system for a healthy family to thrive. And then you begin to wonder in all of this, you know, situations, how do people relate, what do they put in place? So this uncertainty creates boundary ambiguity. So here are clear examples of family boundaries ambiguity. And this one is specifically for infidelity because I feel like for me, infidelity is a pandemic. Is a pandemic in our generation, and I don't know if a lot of us are actually talking about it. I don't know if a lot of us are see the damage that is doing in our society. And I think you see, it's either is brewing silently or is being managed, or people have just resolved that yes, that's what they're going to settle in for in the relationship, and they know about it, but they don't want to confront it, and that's just what they want to do, and they don't want to face. They're living in denial. And sometimes even emotional betrayal too is also emotional betrayal. Whereby even a lot of people probably even watching pornography and all those things too, is also infidelity. It's a sign of infidelity. Let's break it down. Let's shake the table. Put in the comment section. Number one, the uncertain status of the marriage. So when infidelity occurs, there's an uncertainty of the status of the marriage, because marriage is like it's supposed to be two people coming together, being married, being joined together, joined in soul, joined in spirit, joined in body. And then when infidelity happens, there's a breaking, there's a division of soul, there's division of mind, division of heart, and all of that. So after an affair is discovered, one spouse may say they are not sure whether the marriage is over. That, and this one even has different levels to it, because the person that committed adultery, might be remorseful, and they might feel like okay, they might be remorseful and still willing to work on the relationship. So there's still hope for that such a relationship, and they can work on it and go through the due process to work on it. There's another relationship where the person is actually living in denial. The person is committing infidelity, but they are living in denial and denying it and saying they are lying to themselves. They get to a point whereby they will lie to people and deny it and lie to them, lie about everything, and yet they actually love what they're doing, so they're not willing to change. So there cannot be a marriage. There cannot be a marriage in that situation. So the other spouse will be feeling uncertain about the status of the marriage. So all of these things, even in marriage, it's spiritual. It's a spiritual thing, um, and you know, even you might not even physically have a proof, but you will know that something is not right. you know. And then there's another third level whereby the person is committing the infidelity and is arrogant about it and like, psh, that's what it is. It's either you take it or you don't take it, and that's just it. So it depends on the now. It now comes to the other partner, other spouse, to make informed decisions in such a situation to know that come here, is this what you want to live with for the rest of your life, or you want to start making having a plan for your life to know how to um, create and move forward, living and creating healthy situation relationships for yourself. So the other partner and children don't know if the unfaithful parent is still part of the family system. This is we're talking about family boundary ambiguity. These are the examples of and the way they can show up. You know, the kids may ask, "Is dad still living with us? Is mom still my parent the same way?" So these are things that happen. So if it's the mom that cheated or is dad that cheated or whatever, so different questions will begin to crop up. So this uncertainty creates ambiguous boundaries. The second one is the unfaithful partner moves in and out. So it's like confusion, honestly, to be honest, I feel like a lot of problems, it's not children that have problems, to be honest. I think a lot of problems that comes up in family problem is the adults. We adults ourselves, we need to get it together. We adults ourselves are the ones that are the major causes of problems in families because we fail to take responsibility for ourselves and even for whatever decisions that we make. A lot of us lack self-governance and self-leadership. And the earlier we start coming out to say these things and to hold each other accountable as adults, because our generations coming after us, is they're watching us and what we are modeling to them. So, a person just coming in and out, just coming in and hula baloo, anyhowness. A lot of anyhowness is being done in relationships, in families, and all of that. Anyhowness, just because we are adults, so nobody can question me. In fact, because people are adult now, parents can't even talk to them anymore. So most of the time in Africa, when you go through anything, they'll be telling you, the best will be telling you, just be praying, just be praying. That's it. They cannot correct them. They will not tell them whatever. They will just be telling the person, just be praying. So it's now up to you now to know. You borrow yourself some brain, your sense, and you begin to know as an adult, begin to make decisions and informed decisions for yourself and for the children, especially when children are involved. You have to get up and make decisions, because whatever you allow, continue to allow, will open the children up to so many other things that they don't need to open up to, maybe negative things that would affect them. So if an adult is in such a situation, you owe it not only to yourself but to the safety of the children too, to get up and make difficult decisions in such situations to create healthy boundaries. Now, this is the point. I'm going to recommend a book, Boundaries by Henry Cloud, Dr. Henry Cloud. It's there on Amazon, anywhere books are sold. I think, everybody should get this book because it will help us to have knowledge and work from a place of knowledge, even in our relationships. So, in this situation here, the faithful partner doesn't know whether to keep making joint decisions or act independently. So these are where boundaries have become blurred. You see, boundaries around membership and roles become unclear. You see, and in this kind of situation too, I want to say something about even identity crisis in troubled relationships, identity crisis in troubled marriages. You see, when infidelity happens and all of this happens, and if you see people whereby they change their name in marriage or don't change it or whatever, whether it's identity crisis. You know why? Because when we are married, when we are supposed to when we are get married, Yeah, we're supposed to actually change our names, and you put your name, your in the man's name, on your name and all that. But then when you begin to see stuff in the marriage and all of that, and you don't even feel like, man, this is even a marriage or whatever. Honestly, this is where the identity crisis actually comes, where people be like, you know what? I know the family I'm coming from. I know where I'm coming from. I know that, yeah, I am a son of this person, and the daughter of this person. That one for sure I know. But this one, this other marriage or this other relationship is looking like a house built on the sand, and it's like shaky because the security and the safety that you are really even looking for is not there. So it's not a safe space for you. And then you begin to see that, there's no land, there's no solid foundation that people can find in that relationship. And then, they have identity crisis. A lot of people even lose themselves in troubled relationships. They lose who they are, they lose themselves, And I must say that women, sadly enough, I fall into this category many, many times. They are at the receiving end of a lot of, adults irresponsibility. So the other ways that family boundary can also show up is emotional versus physical presence. Emotional versus physical presence. A spouse may still live at home physically, but be emotionally withdrawn because of the affair. So even behind closed doors, as we say, there are people are married and all of that, but what's going on behind? Are we really married behind closed doors? Emotionally, are we one? In mind, in our soul, in our mind, and everything. Are we truly, truly united? So when infidelity happens, the partner feels married but alone. A lot of people even sometimes it don't even have to be sometimes it doesn't even have to be infidelity that have happened, you know, even just in parenting and all of that, people can still feel alone. A lot of times, one particular gender in the family feels alone, bearing the burden of all of this together. So it doesn't even have to be infidelity, really. And then, but in the case of infidelity, anyway, the cheating partner is present in the house but absent in the relationship. A lot of people are in relationships, but they are absent in relating with one another. So we're just living, but we're not really, really, united. We're not really working. We are not relating, together. So this creates role ambiguity. They are espoused in name, but not in function. Oh my God. We are espoused in name, but not in function. My goodness. Share this video with anybody that you know. That's why I tried to make this, and I'm putting it here on YouTube. Seriously, a lot of us have a name of wife, have a name of husband, but we are not functioning in that role. A lot of us have a name mother, have a name father, but we're not functioning in that role. And that is the gospel truth. The worst thing that can happen is that we have a title, but we're not functioning in the title that we're supposed to be functioning in. And then there's a ripple effect affecting our children, affecting our society, affecting our health, affecting the state and the community and the things that we begin to create in our environment because we are not functioning optimally functioning at the capacity and the level and the role that we have been called to function in. So the other one, the other person becomes an unspoken member of the system. What does that mean? In infidelity, this is infidelity or outside stressors of the marriage union, outside stressors of the relationship. It could be pornography, it could be side chick, it could be all manner of things, even relatives, in-laws, and all that. Even though the affair partner is not physically present, that means the external other person, even though they're not physically present, they influence decisions, schedules, arguments, and emotions. The betrayed spouse may feel like there's a third person inside the marriage. You see, so the person might not be physically living with them, but in so many ways, emotionally and all manner of ways, they are living with them. And it's something I was even thinking about. There's this thing, spirit of lust is a strange spirit. Spirit of lust is a top party in a lot of families. Spirit of Jezebel, spirit of lust. You know, you might not physically see this thing, this spirit, but it's present. It's present in the family. You know, and it's having influences in their decisions, their schedules, arguments, emotions until they now, have the guts to be able to, confront all of this. So, my goodness, marriage life, family life, it's a lot of work. So, I hope you're learning. I hope we're all learning together, you know. Um, so, these are the things that can make boundaries, family boundary, unclear and permeable. Mm, permeable. Then the next one, even especially when children are involved, and a lot of people are even on this table too, co-parenting confusion after infidelity. My goodness, co-parenting confusion after infidelity. So if the affair leads to separation, parents may not agree on how much involvement each one should have with the children. So you see all of this in itself, thinking about all of this in itself can cause somebody to be emotionally sick and even physically sick. Because when you're thinking about it, you're thinking about, oh, you're thinking about this. Say, parenting itself is hard. Now, when you now have to think about parenting the children and actually be thinking about the adults, the other parents in the relationship, whether you are they good influences to the child or not. So in a way, they are not even owning up their own weight, carrying up their own weight to be responsible, to be positive influences, so that you guys can even co-partner and partner together in raising and actually build the children. But instead, they are more like an headache whereby you are thinking, oh, how much involvement are they going to have, and what are they going to do or not do or whatever. So that these are emotion, these are things that brings mental stress into our relationships and emotional um, environment, and also creates an unhealthy and healthy climate, in our family relationships. Kids don't know if rules differ in each home. So when they go to daddy's home, they don't know, because daddy and mommy are not agreeing. So whatever works for mommy doesn't work for daddy. And so they'll be like, so, it creates confusion because there's no oneness. It creates confusion. So these are the ripple effects. Anybody that gets to watch this video and you're single, begin to see that these are the realities that people are actually dealing with. So that you'll be able to know and, create informed decision. The cheated on parent may still rely on the other for support, even though trust is broken, because responsibilities are real. So role and expectations become blurred. So the relationship is just is just complicated. And then the last one here, and second to last, a child from an affair. A lot of people are dealing with that. A child from an affair, and sometimes even in many relationships, um, the man too might have multiple children somewhere, but they're not saying it. They don't bring it to front. To be like, just put it in secret. So all manner of immaturity is going on behind closed doors. Secret, 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 secret. See, it is only the truth that will set us free. If you want to be free, it is only the truth that will set us free. And you know why? You see the ripple effect of these things, because when they have children somewhere else now, the danger is that we don't know where we will meet in the future. These children might now go now. They could meet anywhere. They will not know that they are even connected or they are related, and they might even date one another. You see, because of the failure of the adults, the failure of the parents. So parents, we need to wisen up and begin to think about what we are doing. Every single thing that we are doing will affect our children, our generations to come. So we need to think with wisdom. Whatever mistakes that you've made, bring it up to light. Have the difficult conversations and be mature. This is why relationship is not for children. Marriage is not for babies. Marriage is not for babies. Because whatever way the marriage goes, you need to get up and actually do the work, and be mature enough to have tough conversations, make tough decisions, relate, whether you like it or not. You relate have the discussion, you get on with it, basically. So if a child is born outside the marriage, the family may struggle with whether and how this child and how this child belongs. So the betrayed spouse may be uncertain about their own role in relation to the child. So membership boundaries become highly ambiguous. Then the last one, hidden or partial disclosures, which I've said it before. If the cheating partner admits to some details but not all, because at the end of the day, even when it comes to infidelity, there's this element of lying, deception and all of that. They will never come out and tell you the truth and whatever. So lies will never give people freedom. It's only when truth, no matter how gory it is, that's the way it will set free. If you want to continue to live in bondage, keep lying. Lie to yourself, lie to other people, keep lying. But if you want to truly be free, walk in honesty and truth. So, the spouse doesn't know what is true or how to respond. The family can't clearly define the problem or roles because the situation is foggy. This creates cognitive and relational ambiguity. All manner of ambiguity going on in our relationships today. And what are we going to do about it? You cannot go through all of this without having your heart, placing it on the altar of God, that God help my heart in all of this chaos. If you want to function, because this is just a lot of darkness. And if you say, in order for this darkness not to overwhelm somebody, I need just a little more Jesus. We need Jesus in our lives to be able to deal with all of these complexities so that we can come out untouched, unharmed, preserved out of all of these chaotic situations that we find ourselves. See, you can't change anybody, but you can work on yourself. So in order for all of us to work together, we need to begin to allow the light of God to shine upon us and give us wisdom. Go and get the book Boundaries by Dr. Henry Crowd for more understanding on how to deal with all of this family boundary ambiguity and allow Jesus into our hearts. And when we allow the light of God into our hearts, then we begin to have the wisdom of God to know how to relate with one another. It takes a lot of work, but it can be achieved. All right. Was this helpful to anybody? Till I come your way again, I remain Abiola. So like, share, and subscribe, and also follow us on all our social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. The Instagram one, follow, because the stories, I put in so many things on the stories for events or helpful resources that might help one another. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. If you're willing to do it, you come up seeing on the other side. All right. So I want to hear from you anyway, and I hope this blessed you. Okay. Take care. Bye.